So we're stopping our sales team and we've been faced with loads of budget cuts, which isn't helping getting our video production company back on track. Now, as some of you will know, a few months ago, we lost over $150,000 worth of contracts with some of our clients. And unfortunately, it was nothing that we had really done. It was changes within their businesses that meant that they just didn't want to continue with video production anymore. Some of them were struggling financially, others weren't developing their products anymore, and others decided to take it in-house as well. So that left us in a really sticky situation, and overnight literally went from our video production company being very successful to struggling to find how we're going to fill this void in our business. And for any business owner, ups and downs are always the nature of growing a business, and you're always going to be faced with these setbacks, but it doesn't make it any easier. It has such a toll on your mental health, your physical health, and it is just sometimes soul destroying that the thing that you've tried to build is taking such a huge back step and is failing, sometimes not as a result of what you're doing. However, as you've seen from my other videos, you also understand that there were lots of things that we had completely forgotten to do. We were so busy with work that we weren't making any additional sales. So when we lost our clients, there was nothing left to fill that void. There was no sales in the pipeline, there were no projects coming in because we had just completely forgotten about that because we couldn't handle the workload we had. So we learned a lot of lessons, and over the last few months, we've been structuring our business to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Now, we are always faced with problems and challenges in our businesses that we have to overcome. So in this video, I want to share with you a few things that have been happening recently, and more importantly, the challenges we faced, but what we're doing to try and overcome them to get our business back on track. Now, the term failing can mean so many things to different people. That could be complete financial failure of your business. It could just be that feeling of not being able to grow to the next level. And there's a saying that says that if you're stagnant in business or you're not moving forward, then by default, you're moving backwards, you're falling behind. So it's always about pushing forward to that next level. And that's the hardest thing when you face some setbacks and challenges, because it feels like you just can't get there. The main thing that I've been trying to do personally is just remember why I started this in the first place, why I put in so much work and effort to grow my business. And I've never been at this stage of my business before, so I'm having to figure it out and I'm having to learn. And that's something that has been apparent from day one when I started my business to where I am now. If you don't know how to do something, believe in your ability to figure that out. Whether it's Googling it, whether it's asking friends in business, whether it's asking random people if they could just share some advice on problems that they faced in their business. Whatever it is, believe in your ability to overcome those challenges and don't let it just absorb you and give up. At the end of the day, if it all went completely wrong, I would still start up a brand new business tomorrow and just try and do it better than I did first time round. So as some of you know, we've used our reserves to employ an external sales team who have been particularly focusing on email outreach. That's something that has been really good for us over the period of years, is email outreach and Instagram as well. But we haven't had quite the amount of success as we had done previously. And I haven't deemed that investment to be a worthwhile investment. So we're actually putting a stop to our sales team at the moment. But I think what's important here to know is that we're not stopping sales. We're just changing our strategy. And I'm going to talk to you about a few things that we're going to do and the way that we think we're going to have more success moving forward. And to anyone who's just starting out, I still 100% believe that email and Instagram outreach are the perfect ways to meet businesses. You can speak to mass people, and along with the other strategies that I'm going to share with you in a moment, I definitely wouldn't say, avoid it just because we're avoiding it. We've had a lot of success through that in the past. My biggest issue has been I haven't been able to dedicate the time personally to doing that, which is why we've outsourced it, but they just don't understand your business in the same way as you do. So for me, it's very much a time issue and a time challenge that I'm going to overcome, and I'll talk to you more about that in a second. The other thing we've been faced with is budget cuts. You've probably seen my previous video about moving into a recession. We've already noticed a lot of businesses tighten up their purse strings and not being as willing to spend money. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the same for every business. In actual fact, we've onboarded 2 brand new clients. So it just goes to show, although one industry might be feeling the pinch, it might be different for a different industry too. That certainly isn't helping us grow to that next level. And if we didn't have a great relationship with our clients, we wouldn't be in the position we are in now, where they are actively trying to source more budget from the business owners to spend on video production and marketing their businesses and services. Now, that's only because we've built up such a good relationship with these people and we've worked with them on long-term retainers, opposed to just working with them on a one-off project and then looking at where that next project is. Sometimes I find that, particularly through our academy, some of our members face the challenge of constantly looking for the next job. And when you're looking for the next job, you forget about the clients that you've done work for. If you can look after those clients and keep in touch with them, they'll come back to use you more frequently than perhaps normal, and they won't forget about you as well. So it's all very good looking forward towards signing new clients, but what can you be doing to retain the ones that you've got or the people you've worked for before? What can you do to bring them coming back into your business? So there's some of the challenges that I've currently been facing. Now I'm going to talk about how we're going to overcome them, and what are the solutions that we think will work to get our business back on track. What has been abundantly obvious as of late is the power of referrals. I've always said referrals are so important. When we did our YouTube web series with George, where we took him from being a complete beginner to landing his first client, one of the strategies we used was reaching out to people he knew within his network and asking for them to refer you. I know that because we've just secured a large project from a company who came to us, and as it turns out, they actually knew one of our staff members. And it just highlighted how useful having those warm leads are, the people that are already keen to purchase, the people who already know who you are, because you don't have to go through your whole sales process and try and convince them to buy your products. You can simply just focus on using those referrals and taking the relationship that you already have with them. So how do we increase the amount of referrals? Well, we're actively working with our current relationships with the businesses that we have, and we're starting to ask them if they could recommend us to anyone. But more importantly, we're actually sitting down on a 30-minute call with them just to discuss this particular subject, so that we can sit there and kind of brainstorm together. If I was to send them an email and simply just say, have you got anyone that you could refer us to? Some of them might say yes, but actually getting them to do something about it is another thing. So if we can jump on a call, I can just talk to them about the position our business is in at the moment, and we can put our heads together and we can talk about, do you know anyone in this industry? Do you know anyone in that industry? Is there anyone that you think that could help? Any family members? And we can start to have that conversation and start to spark those ideas in their minds, so that then they can actively go away and put us in touch. And that's something that seemingly is working really well. The other thing we're going to be doing more, and this is why I said we're not putting a stop to sales, we're just changing our strategy, and that is I'm going to be focused on going to networking events. I said this in my very first video, and I have attended a couple of networking events, but nowhere near as much as I have been. As some of you are aware, we've recently launched the brand new Perspective Academy, and we've had a lot of work going on behind the scenes, so I've been focusing on that. We now guarantee your first client within 30 days or your money back, and that's taken, as you could imagine, a huge amount of infrastructure to get the team and coaches in place to guarantee people's success. So I've been spending a lot of time focusing on that, which has meant I haven't been able to be as active within my business. And that is a challenge in itself. And I'm going to mention that in a second as well. What's really important about having multiple streams of income. So I'm going to be attending more networking events, more events in general, to have the opportunity to speak to as many businesses as possible. Now, by the way, all of these videos are completely transparent. I'm just talking from the top of my head and what's been going on over the last couple of months. But if there's anything that you would like me to break down in more detail and you think that that would be useful to our community, then please just let me know in the comments below, and then maybe I can create a video about that and break it down into a little bit more detail to provide more value than just here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm thinking is going to work. And yeah, maybe I can break that down into the strategies behind it. Losing 150 grand is a kick in the teeth to any business, especially a small growing business like ours. Despite the fact we work for global clients and we still work on projects all over the world and we have a team of people, it really does hit hard. And that's been something that's been really, really difficult to kind of deal with, as well as all of the other things that we've got going on. Now, what's really important, and I sometimes I read the comments on most things, and it's really, I take a lot of things personally, and that's definitely a negative. So when people email me or send me negative comments and messages, I understand that's just them expressing themselves, and perhaps they're not in a very good place as well, but I really do take those things to heart. And one of the things particularly that I've noticed with the Academy stuff and helping other people grow their businesses is people say, oh, well, your business isn't doing well, and that's why you're teaching other people just as another way to make money. And I just think that I could sit here and tell you about all of the good things we do, all of the money that we've brought in this month, and how all of the successes. But I just think by talking about the transparency, that's the reality of having a business. It goes through up and downs, and not everyone's perfect. And I'm learning from these mistakes, and I'm learning how to grow a business to the next level. There's tons of production companies who are much bigger than us, and they're still in the same thing. They're learning how to get to that next level. And there's also millions of filmmakers who are below where we're at in our business at the moment too. So hopefully this advice will really help them. But the reason this is important, because I want to talk about multiple streams of income. And this is something that's been really important to our business and keeping it afloat. Now, I effectively run 4 businesses. I have Perspective Studios, our video production company. I've got Perspective Academy, our online training program. And then I've also got Blank Space Studios, which is our studio hire and studio rental business. And then I also have YouTube, which admittedly only makes a very small amount of money, but you still have to run it like a business because I have to sit here, record these videos, get them edited, so on and so forth, right? Now, that enables us to keep a constant in our business. If one area is doing poorly and the other is doing well, it can kind of compensate for the two. And something that we found has been really useful is our studio rental business, because we've been able to focus on actually growing that side of the business, because it doesn't cost us anything. We don't use the studio every single day. So to have people come in and create content from our studio, whether that's photography, whether it's products, whether it's fashion, whatever it may be, has not only been really cool to see other people create stuff and use our space to better their own businesses, but it also provides us with another stream of income, which really helps us, again, start to fill that void in a new way where we don't have to be as actively involved. And of course, the Academy is something that I've become really passionate about. I'm fortunate that I have a great team within Perspective Studios, so for a lot of the time, they can handle a lot of the projects without me being too involved in it, while I can spend more time focusing on the Academy and helping people grow their businesses too. And that's something that I get a lot of fulfillment out of. And one of the challenges has been trying to juggle all of these businesses in the air at any one point, which sometimes you might be saying, well, Ross, if you had just focused on Perspective Studios, will you be back on track quicker? And the answer is yes. But then that also means if I'm not focused on the other businesses, that they will potentially start to dwindle as well. So you have to, when you grow your businesses, be in many places at different times and just understand that, but it also provides a great platform. And you might think about this in your own business of multiple streams of income. What other services could you be selling as well? And this leads me on to my final point of my update. I appreciate it's probably been a little bit of a longer one, and that is pitching packages. The packages that we're selling now have changed quite a lot from just video production to starting to think about what struggles are our potential clients facing? What other areas can we help with? The same way as multiple streams of income doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be different businesses. We can start to think about, well, we know how to post content on social media. We know how to run adverts. We also have qualified drone pilots. So we've started to push those services on the projects that we're in discussions with. And the general feedback has been, oh yeah, some drone shots would be really nice. So they've added that to their tally, which makes their overall spend per customer higher as well. So that's been something that has been kind of eye-opening for us. And I feel like a lot of the time with these things, they've been moments of realization where I think, we used to do this. Why haven't we been doing it? It used to work, but we've just stopped doing that thing that used to work. And a lot of this has been moments of realization that we've just become very complacent, and that ultimately had contributed to the challenges that we face. So there you have it. Things are starting to get back on track, but we're still facing a lot of problems and we still have a long way to go to fill in that void. If you're interested in finding out how this all kicked off and my initial thoughts and feelings when we lost all of those clients, then simply click this video right here and have a little look at it. And if you're starting out on your journey, why not follow George and see the strategies we use to get him his first client too. I really wish you all the best. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and look forward to seeing you very soon.